like a Wednesday or something. It's like my kids are done with school now, so I don't know. I don't have any excuse tonight. Well, it's like takes the 30 minutes. 3 miles. That's the week. Right out of 30 miles. 3 miles. Like might take a little while. I know. But like even if I did it today, there's no freaking way I'd be like 1 or 2. I mean, you know, things like that mentality. That's why I sort of back.
Is this good enough, or do you need more room?
No, well, if I'm going to be here, then I'm going to be covering up whoever's standing here.
I will
Then
move.
they'll be staring at my back. Or I can move to
Nope, it's okay.
this side.
So that way we can get you the space that
Probably
you need.
better for you guys. Like, thank you.
Lieutenant Governor, do you want to go on that side? Yeah, so you're on either side of the podium. Everyone else can go on.
Good morning.
How are you?
How are you?
Order. We're just sitting.
We're good here.
Got my shades out here.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Susan Graff, and I'm the director here at Babes in Toyland. I've been employed here since 1986. I was hired originally as a preschool teacher. Children are my passion, and I believe that all families should have access to high quality and affordable care for their children, regardless of where they live, their income, or their race or ethnicity. To successfully meet the needs of working Michigan families, Governor Whitmer's plan will be centered around affordability, availability, and quality. Decades of studies and data prove that where and how children spend their time can have long-lasting impacts into adulthood. Quality early childhood experiences create the foundation for children to succeed. Babes in Toyland is proud to be rated a 5-star center by Michigan's Great Start to Quality. The COVID-19 crisis has made it clear to everyone that childcare is essential for young children, working families, and the state's economy. Despite our essential role, childcare teachers remain tragically underpaid and undervalued for our very critical work. In order to improve this, we need help. We need to have the quality of child care services in the United States helped through the government. Well, fortunately for Michigan, we have Governor Whitmer, and she has plans to invest in existing child care centers and child care centers so that all children will have an opportunity to learn and grow. Her upcoming announcement is anticipated by everyone in this field. We're truly thankful for this opportunity to host our esteemed Governor Whitmer, Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist, County Executive Dave Coulter, Congresswoman Haley Stevens, Brad Williams from Vice President of Government Relations, Danielle Atkinson from Mothering Justice, and a parent of 5, Dr. Megan Cahill. We are very excited to hear about Governor Whitmer's child care funding plan, as it is critical for Michigan's future. Child care is a bipartisan issue. Everyone wants to see children succeed here in Michigan. By working together and utilizing this exceptional opportunity that's been presented to us by COVID-19 federal funding, we can create brighter futures for everyone in Michigan. Without further ado, I would love to present Governor Whitmer.
All right, well done. Well done. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We so appreciate it. And it's such a happy place, right? Happy kids, happy families. This is fantastic. Of course, I'm joined by the Lieutenant Governor, Garland Gilchrist, Congresswoman Haley Stevens. This is the order of the speakers as well. Well, actually, as soon as I said that, I realized that's not true, because now I'm going to acknowledge a number of legislators who are here. You know, the nice thing about doing this on a Monday is the legislature's not in session, so we're joined by so many of my partners in the legislature: Senator McMorrow, Senator Moss, Senator Baer, Representatives Koopa, Breen, Bolden, Manoogian, and Weiss, and Puri. Did I miss anybody? Yes. All right. Anyone comes in late, the LG will make sure to acknowledge. Of course, Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter, Brad Williams from the Detroit Regional Chamber, Mothering Justice, well represented by Danielle Atkinson, and Dr. Megan Cahill. Now, I just want to take a minute to identify Dr. Cahill. She has 5 children. She's an ER doc. With facilities like this, right? Both impressive. I'm not sure which is more. But it was facilities like this that helped keep people like Dr. Cahill on the front line throughout this pandemic. And what a fantastic moment to acknowledge and thank her for her personal work. So we're here today to talk about kids and families as we continue Michigan's economic jumpstart. Now, we've all been through an exceptionally difficult year, and few people have felt the burden more than Michigan's working families. Parents who've been stretched thinner than usual, kids adjusting to constantly changing circumstances, child care professionals who are creating engaging experiences for our children despite being consistently underpaid. Working families have long relied on child care to support their children's early development and make their lives work. And COVID has been a reminder that child care is essential to our economy too. The problem is care, right? There's just not enough quality, affordable child care that can meet the needs of Michigan's families and children. Data shows that child care is the single biggest monthly expense for lower income working families with children. And the issue is very personal to so many of us. I know it's personal to me. As a member of the sandwich generation, I took care of my mom at the end of her life, and took care of my daughter at the beginning of hers, all at the same time while serving the legislature. I know Senator McMorrow knows a little bit about that right now. But I know how invaluable child care can be to professional and to personal success. So today my kids are grown, but I know that there's so many parents with young kids who are dealing with the challenges that we've confronted for the last 15 months, but the daily challenges that preceded the pandemic and certainly will exist after the pandemic's over. And so that's what today's all about. We've got an opportunity right in front of us to make significant investments in child care. And so I think it's important that we live the values that I know we all share. Every family in Michigan deserves to have access to safe, affordable, quality child care that meets their needs, regardless of how old their children are, regardless of what part of Michigan they live in, how much money they make, their race, their ethnicity, or their immigration status. Decades of studies and data prove that where and how children spend their time, it matters. Their lifelong health and their lifelong ability to make a living. As we build back better from this pandemic, we have to understand just how essential child care is for the economy as a whole. Since the start of this pandemic, millions of women across America were forced to leave the pandemic, including 136,000 Michigan women left between February to December of 2020. One of the main drivers of the exodus is the lack of quality, affordable childcare. So let's be clear. Childcare is not solely a woman or mother's duty, all right? But the reality is, women take on a significantly larger burden of childcare responsibilities in a majority of heterosexual relationships. So as our recovery continues, so should our work center around working moms who have borne the brunt of economic pain during the pandemic. Our recovery depends on access to quality, affordable childcare. Our state's economic recovery depends on us getting this right. All parents want their kids to be safe. All parents want their kids to be happy and healthy and learning. And we need quality childcare to get there. The earliest years of a child's life lay that foundation for their future, their learning, their behavior, their health. And early experiences are the building blocks of development. It's essential that every child in our state has access. So, what distinguishes high-quality childcare is qualified early childhood educators. So it's the people that are in these incredible places. This is a skilled and honorable profession that requires several concrete capabilities and countless intangible skills. A vast majority of early educators are women. Many are women of color, and many of them are mothers themselves. Currently, there are too many educators who are underpaid and undervalued for the high-skilled work that they do. Investing in early childhood workforce will further improve the quality and access and help us retain talented individuals who work in this field and draw others into this important field. So the benefits of high-quality, affordable childcare for families, kids, and communities relies on us supporting the people who do the work. Right now, we've got an opportunity to make historic, lasting investments in childcare. Through the pandemic, the federal government passed multiple large stimulus and relief bills. Altogether, these bills sent us over $1.4 billion specifically for childcare here in Michigan. This investment is on top of the $250 million we receive every year from the federal government to support childcare. So basically, we have a one-time injection of 6 times the amount of resources we usually have for this purpose. So clearly, this is an unprecedented opportunity granted by the extraordinary circumstance of a once-in-a-century pandemic. As we determine how to spend this money, we need to define our vision of success. There are 3 good metrics to track progress: availability, affordability, and quality. For availability, we should be tracking the percent of families living in communities without enough childcare to meet their demand. For affordability, the percent of families paying more than 7% of their income on childcare. And for quality, the percent of children in quality care. To start, we must ensure each and every Michigan resident has access to care that meets their needs in the community. So that means investing in existing child care providers to keep them open and to help them stay financially strong. It means offering grants to expand existing providers and open up new sites and new slots based on equity. And as a state, we need to pay providers more through child care subsidies. That's why I'm proposing a 20% rate increase for providers. To make child care more affordable and to reduce the numbers of families that pay more than 7% of their income on child care, we should make 150,000 more children eligible for low or no-cost child care by expanding income eligibility to 200% of the federal poverty level. Extend innovative programs like the TriShare program and offer all student parents enrolled in Reconnect and Futures for Frontliners access to free or low-cost child care. And finally, to increase the percent of children in high-quality care, we need to invest in our early educators. Our premium pay and sign-on bonuses to child care professionals. We provide more access to tuition-free education and training for individuals looking for a career in this important profession. Child care is a powerful, essential service that aids families and kids and businesses too. If we work together, we can deliver for all of them. By effectively utilizing the billions of federal aid sent to us, we can invest in childcare and build back better from this pandemic. It's time to take action to boost availability, increase affordability, and to improve quality. Together, I know we can get this done. In addition to childcare investments, though, today we're announcing a new Back to Work incentive to help business owners and Michigan workers as we continue our economic jumpstart. So, under Michigan's Back to Work incentive, eligible laid-off employees will earn $300 per week bonus for returning to the workforce through September 4th. That means they don't have to forego the assistance. They can add that to their income when they jump back into the workforce. We're going to use the federal $300 per week in unemployment benefits to our advantage so we can incentivize people to get back to work, maximize families' income, and help employers fully build up their businesses and staff up. So this boost is available to workers who receive benefits who were brought back by an employer participating in the WorkShare program. Woo! My allergies are kicking up. I did take my Flonase, but my throat's a little dry. I also hope to work with the legislature to build on this program's success so that we can expand it to allow employers to hire new employees and still use this incentive for them as well. This would be a great expansion. I know I've got a lot of members of the legislature here. This is how we encourage people to get back to work without paying a price or making false choices. So legislative action on these items would mean more opportunity for workers, more ways for business to attract and retain new and returning employees, and greater work schedule flexibility for everyone as we work to defeat COVID-19 together. This is the win-win-win incentive that we've been looking for. Help employers, help people, and help our economy. It works for all of us. So, there's just one more piece that I wanted to highlight that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, and that is the expansion of the Great Start Readiness Program. GSRP is a proven homegrown preschool program that serves 4-year-olds across our state. Last week I proposed expanding this program to ensure that the 22,000 kids who are the current age but not served right now so that they can enroll. So we want to expand this too. Right now only 2 in 3 kids in Michigan take advantage of this program. We want to make sure that it's expanded so that all kids can take advantage of it. So it costs about $152 million per year. We can enroll an additional 17,400 students, and this is another way that we address the needs of our kids and get our economy back up to full speed and beyond. So I'm really glad to be here today with all of you. This is an important announcement. This is an opportunity for us as a state, and it's something that we all got to work together to make sure that we realize. With that, I thank you so much, and I am handing it over to the Lieutenant Governor.
Thank you, Governor, and good morning, everyone. This is such a beautiful day, and I'm really excited that we get to make this announcement at such a beautiful place. You know, as we see this collection of people represented here, I think what it is important to note is that, you know, when you think about it, childcare infrastructure, there is nothing that is more enabling, that is more able to unlock the productivity and potential of our parents and our communities, like accessible, affordable, reliable, safe, dependable childcare. So this is really a celebratory opportunity, and to have this broad coalition of people here. Sue, thank you so much for hosting us today. I think that what Babes in Toyland represents, again, is a beacon of, again, the potential that our communities hold. Because when you get to enable, you know, professionals like Dr. Megan Cahill, let me say, so first of all, she went to Michigan, so that's great. Second, so she has 5 children. We talked about that. But as a person who has twins, part of that 5 are triplets. Nothing is more terrifying to a parent of twins than the idea of having triplets. So God bless you for for your tenacity, but also, again, just God bless this facility that helps enable parents and professionals like you. I want to thank, in addition to the governor, obviously, for her leadership, my good friend, Congresswoman Haley Stevens. You know, this doesn't happen without collaboration between all branches and all levels of government. And Congresswoman Stevens and the members of the congressional delegation, or at least the Democrats in the congressional delegation in Michigan, are really fought to deliver resources that are coming to make opportunities like this real for Michigan families. And so thank you for your leadership in fighting for this. Dave Coulter, our Oakland County Executive, thank you so much for being here and for continuing to be a champion on opening up doors for possibility and opportunity. It's important. I also want to recognize Brad and your representation of the Detroit Regional Chamber, because as the governor talked about, this is also about jumpstarting and supporting our economy. The growth that can come in this sector, there's a tremendous opportunity for more professionals to be working alongside Sue, to start different models for delivering childcare to people that will work in flexible ways for just the different ways that people work and how that's evolving. And Danielle Atkinson from Mother and Justice. This organization, I love the name, and again, this event, as much as it is about productivity in our economy and about safety for our children, it is about justice. It is an issue of justice that childcare is not equitably accessible to everyone in Michigan. But that is an injustice that this action represents us taking a step toward righting. And really, one of the moral conscience of this movement is mothering justice, not just in Michigan, but around the country. So thank you so much for that. You know, I know that every parent, as a parent, I know that every parent wants to make sure that not just their kids, but that the kids their kids play with, that every child has access to safe, early learning and life experiences. You know, you want to make sure that there are environments that nurture, develop your not only your intellect, but your creativity, you know, your dexterity, that you develop these things. And even in pre-COVID times, you know, we all heard stories about parents being waitlisted for daycare. We should have enough capacity so that is never true. And I'm saying that as someone who had his own kids waitlisted for daycare. My baby girl, my twins, we had to wait to get into childcare. It's not something you can like get elected out of. Like, you still got to wait on a list. Demand is clearly high, and the COVID-19 pandemic made demand even higher. So we are stepping up to meet this demand, just like we have to step up and meet this moment across so many different opportunities. What this means is that, you know, so many households that have those crazy busy mornings, like the Gilchrist household certainly has crazy busy mornings, you know, having to make sure that we can get our twins ready for school, either in person or virtual, and to get our children, our baby girl, to a facility like this. Our baby Ruby attends one in the city of Detroit. You know, my wife and I take turns dropping off. Ellen dropped off yesterday. Dropped off today. I dropped Ruby off yesterday morning. This is an image that every family with young children can or will soon relate to. So it's not just a talking point. It's not a theoretical exercise, an idea about how we can do something. This is real. This is real life, as real as it gets. And so we need to take advantage of this moment that the governor described. We have a chance to make a generational investment that will impact future generations of Michiganders. Allowing for parents to work and be even more productive and providing an environment that children can thrive in. Like, why else are we here but to do that? I do want to build a little bit and address the misconception that access to childcare is strictly a women that is only an issue that's only in the interest of women. You know, this is an issue for fathers and all families. And frankly, I think we need to understand that the entire family needs to come together to solve this problem. That men have a responsibility to make sure that the resources are available to make this happen. And so when all parents have access to affordable childcare, it is transformative and unlocks that potential that I described earlier. So all of the people here who are public servants, all the people here in their professional capacity, I think you entered into the works, the jobs, the vocations that you're pursuing because you wanted to change systems for the better. I certainly did. This is one of those moments where we step up to transform. So as the governor said today, we have the opportunity to make a long-lasting investment in this system that will leave it much better than we found it. Parents across Michigan are counting for us for action. They're counting for us to make progress on the availability and affordability of childcare. And our message is very clear. We are ready to make that investment. So this is the time when we all come together. This is the time to build on not only this $1.4 billion that are available to us, not only the normal money that comes into the state for child care, but also, frankly, the budget that we've proposed and that the legislature is working through that had $370 million put forward toward child care. Like, this is not, we didn't wake up this morning and decide we were going to work on child care. This has been important to us since we've taken office, and it will continue to be so. But let today mark the day that we decided to take even more bold action to boost availability, increase affordability, and improve the quality of child care for Michigan parents. So to all parents hoping that this reality will someday meet them in Michigan, we want that day to be like tomorrow. So let's get started right now. So with that, I want to bring up a woman I referred to earlier, someone who is a champion who have gotten these resources to the state of Michigan to make this day possible, and that is Congresswoman Haley Stevens.
Wow, thank you, Lieutenant Governor Gilchrist, and thank you, Governor Whitmer, and oh boy, Marilyn and Sue are owners of Babes in Toyland, executive director of this incredible, I want to call it an establishment, but it's a center. It's a center, and it's as evidenced by this incredible playground we're all in. Who wouldn't want to send their child to Babes in Toyland of Troy? Right. Now, I know you've been through some tough times this last year. I know that you were looking at large drop-offs in your attendees of this daycare center. I know that when this pandemic hit, we had about 120,000 daycare centers in Michigan that were at threat of closure. And so we stood up in the early days and worked to get the resources to make sure our daycare centers didn't shut down. And now here we are in June of 2021, we've passed the American Rescue Act. We've got 60% of Michigan with at least one shot of the vaccine. We're besting all expectations. Thanks to the incredible work of our governor's office and the team here, we're getting ready to say, hey, we're ready to get back to work. This is something Brad knows from the chamber. We are hearing this. We are ready to get back to work, but it's not possible unless we address this daycare challenge. And I hear this all throughout Michigan's 11th district. I spend time volunteering at our Meals on Wheels program and at our food banks. And just a short while ago, I was at one of our food banks and I was talking to this wonderful mother of three, Dr. Cahill, wonderful mother of three, who looked me in the eye and just said, listen, I am so ready to get back to work, but I'm at 15 an hour and I can't get anyone up here to watch my kids for under 16 an hour. So throughout this entire pandemic, as we were working so diligently in Washington, working to deliver and unite this country, who was in the background championing exactly what Michigan needed? That is Governor Whitmer. She said, Haley, you cannot pass this rescue if we do not have these resources for daycare assistance. This is what Michigan needs. And I was so proud to help get that done alongside our remarkable President Joe Biden. And just to capture for all of you what we did is we passed the largest investment ever in the history of the United States for daycare and childcare in America. Now, the $1.4 billion that we got to Michigan, right, we call it flexible parameters, because what the state doesn't need is us filling in every single line item. What you just heard our governor talk about with the grants and the quality and the vision for what is going to make a strong, healthy, and vibrant Michigan has been a part of the effort that we got done with passing the legislation, but is her vision. And that is how we do good work. That is what our Lieutenant Governor just shared. That is why our incredible team from Lansing, our state legislators who day in and day out are working with some of the remaining dollars to ensure that we are safe, healthy, and back to work with every family given the equal chance to succeed. And it begins here at Babes. So thank you so much for your leadership and what you're doing here today. And we're happy to see, this was an incredible deal, what we got done with the American Rescue. And we're going to be talking about this for years to come. And I want all of you to remember, we're talking about unity through delivery. We've delivered for the state of Michigan. We got the state resources, and we got some tremendous resources to Oakland County. And that is why it is so significant to have our Oakland County executive here today, who is also going to be working alongside our state to ensure that we are effective and we are succeeding. And with that, let me introduce Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you, Haley, our friend, and Oakland County has no greater champion in Washington than Haley Stevens, so thank you for that on a whole range of issues, but in particular, the CARES Act funding and now the American Recovery Plan dollars have just been critical to our success, our ability to be resilient through this pandemic. And so we talk a lot in Oakland County about Oakland together, and what that's always meant to me is our federal partners, our state partners, our business partners, which is why I'm so glad to see Brad here, our providers, our residents. It's all of us together. That's how we get through things like this. And the governor. Your leadership through this pandemic has been amazing, and I'm really happy to be here with you. And I'm happy you chose Troy, the great city of Troy, in Oakland County to highlight this really important and I think game-changing program. So thank you, Governor. Garland said, the Lieutenant Governor said that child care isn't just a women's issue, it's a parent's issue, and I wholly agree, but I want to add another layer to that because I'm not a parent. But I know that expanding access to childcare, reliable, affordable childcare, is critical not only to the peace of mind of our parents, the well-being of our children, but really to the economy of our county and our state. And I certainly understand that as the county executive here in Oakland County. And so that's why last year we used $2 million of the CARES Act, thank you, Congresswoman, to give grants to 374 child care providers in Oakland County, including here at Babes in Toyland. And by the way, Sue said they were a 5-star organization. And I just want to highlight to you, we've got 850 licensed providers in Oakland County. Only 24 of them are 5-star. That's not to say the rest of them aren't great, but it's a big deal to be 5-star. And I want to congratulate not only you, Sue, but Marilyn Van Duzen, who is the owner. I just want to acknowledge, and the founder, I believe, of this wonderful organization. It was her vision that this come to pass. So thank you both. We actually, one of the grants that we gave last year was to Babes in Toyland, $8,500, which helped them keep the doors open and keep the services going during an incredibly difficult year. But now, if we want to get our workers back to work, into good paying jobs, and as the governor said, 136,000 people that left the workforce were women, and so we know that they have been vastly disproportionately affected by this. Then we need to do more to help our parents get their kids in daycare and child care, and our businesses the workers that they need, right? So it's programs like the one that the governor unveiled today that's going to be a tremendous help in doing that. We talked about affordability. The governor talked about affordability. That unfortunately is an exacerbated issue here in Oakland County. The average price of child care in Michigan is about $700 a month, which is difficult, especially if you're on a lower income job. But in Oakland County, it's $900 a month. And we have to do better about making that more affordable for our parents. And so and it's the highest amount of our neighbors. It's not a figure I'm proud of, but it's something that we're going to lean into because it's important if we're going to move forward. And another statistic that is troubling, the latest data was from earlier this year, but the Michigan League for Public Policy noted that in Oakland County, of that 850 providers, only about 60% of them were back fully opened and doing business. So when you wonder why women are out of the workplace or why employees in general are not back to work like we thought, we now know, and we have the data to suggest that this is a major issue to getting folks back. So the major investment by the state is going to allow us to make these long-term investments in child care with some of the American Recovery Plan dollars and we couldn't be more happy. In Oakland County, we're going to use those dollars in our next round of small business grants. We're going to target child care centers because we know now, last year those business grants sort of got scattered across all industries really. And it's not to say that everyone doesn't need extra funding, but we now know with the benefit of time and the analysis of data that certain industries have been harder hit than others, and we know childcare is one of those. And so childcare centers will be in our next round. But in addition to the direct funding that they need, we're working on additional training programs for people who want to get certified in childcare, because we know that getting the workers they need is going to be critical. And as has been said here a number of times, in my view, this is a bipartisan issue. It certainly should be. Democrats and Republicans alike have children, are struggling to raise their families through a pandemic, and so this really is a win-win for our parents, our businesses, and our communities, whether you have children or not, frankly. And frankly, it's simply the right thing to do. So I'm delighted to be here, and I want to thank the governor and your team, Moms for Justice, Mothering Justice. Great to see you here and all the work that you've done over all the years to keep this issue. This is one of those issues that we knew was important before COVID. There's a lot of those. But the pandemic, if there's a certain silver lining, it's shined a very bright light on some of the disparities and some of the things that we should have been investing in for decades. And so this is our opportunity, right? And you guys have helped keep this issue on the radar, and I thank you. So the other great partner in all of this is our business community, which has obviously struggled. Oakland County is known for having a very vibrant and successful business community, but COVID has been as challenging here as anywhere. And so that's why I think it's really important that Brad Williams from our partner at the Detroit Regional Chamber is here to talk a little bit more about the impact on that community. So thank you very much, and thanks, Governor, for being here. Thanks.
County Executive, thank you very much. And Governor, thank you for everything you've done to bring this issue to the forefront. The last 16 months have been whiplash after whiplash for employers in Michigan. Logistic challenges have brought us shortages ranging from microchips to toilet paper. We have a current labor shortage, but when you're dealing with a shortage of people, the causes and the solutions are a little bit more complex than when you're dealing with toilet paper. So understanding the dynamics here is going to take a little bit of time. And there's been a lot of talk so far today about the data and understanding the data. So we at the Chamber, we commissioned a poll, and we just released it last Monday, where we actually asked people what's going on in the labor market to get a real close snapshot. And here's what we found. We found that 89% of Michiganders who were working at the beginning of this pandemic are still working, either in the job they had at the beginning or a new job, but that means 11% of us aren't. And 7% of us are looking for work, but 4% of us aren't looking for work right now. And so if we want to get around this labor challenge, we need to expand our labor market. We need to get these 4% of workers to come back into the labor market. So we asked these 4% what's keeping them out of the labor market, and it's no surprise that a lot of them, in fact, a good third of them are still concerned either about, their age or health care, and there's ways that we can get around that. But 14% of them said it was wages or good pay, and 9% of them said it was daycare. So we know that there are solutions that we can get around to help bring these people back into the labor market. And so that's why we're here today, because we're ecstatic to see that we have both the time, the leadership, and the resources now to solve some of these problems. It's been said a couple times today that we've known that daycare has been an issue for our employers. I'm a parent. I know it's an issue. We've known it's been an issue for a long time, but this COVID pandemic that we've all been through has brought it to the forefront. And now we have the time, the leadership, and the resources to finally put it behind us. And we're looking forward to being part of that solution, both with the governor and the legislature going forward. But I also think it's important to note the other part of this. We talked about 14% who are wondering about pay and benefits. And we've all heard the anecdotal talk about people who are staying unemployed because of the unemployment benefits being too high. Well, actually, when we looked at the data, that's not as pervasive as you would think. But what we have found is that we need to expand our labor force, right? So what the governor talked about today, about return to work incentives, this is very similar to an idea the Chamber rolled out not too long ago, 100K by Labor Day, bringing people back into the labor force, expanding the labor market. So we're really excited to work with the governor on this plan as well, to make the labor force bigger so that we can get people back to work and let folks open their business back up and provide the level of service to their customers that they need. So let me leave you with two messages today. First, get vaccinated, because the other thing we're hearing is people are still worried about their health and the safety. Get vaccinated because it's important. It's going to make people want to come back to work, and it's going to make the service you experience at your businesses even better. The second, it's a really good time to get a job. I just had a friend on social media say the other day, my son's looking for work. Is anyone hiring? And the immediate response was, literally everybody is hiring. So it's a good time to get a job. Wages are high, they're getting higher, so go out and get hired. Thank you very much. Now we're going to hear from Daniel Atkinson from Mothering Justice.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Governor Whitmer. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor, my county exec, my friend, Congresswoman. This is a beautiful facility. Thank you so much for the invitation, and wonderful to be joined by another supermom. My name is Danielle Atkinson. I am the founder and executive director of Mothering Justice. But most importantly, I am the mother of 6 beautiful children. Yes. And in that is a 4-year-old who is very ready to start preschool next year. And so I think I can speak for many parents that today is a good day to be in Michigan and to be a parent here. Let the legacy of this pandemic be that we taught more children. For so many families in Michigan, the stability of their childcare is determined by how they're doing financially that day. When I was pregnant with my first daughter 13 years ago, I remember worrying constantly about care. The questions about what was the ideal place for my child, what would be the right fit for our family, and where would my child be comfortable and receive high quality care was secondary to what we could actually afford. In our state and across the country, most parents don't have the autonomy to choose exactly what they want in regards to early childhood education for their children. The decision really boils down to how they're going to afford childcare while meeting the rest of their monthly financial responsibilities. The cost of childcare can be the same as the cost of rent for a 2-bedroom apartment. To be honest, most working parents do not even have the option of choice. They get what they get. And for another portion, consistent childcare is completely out of reach. Parents and children deserve better. COVID has shown us what so many of us already knew, that financial stability for women, particularly women of color, is disproportionately vulnerable in times of economic crisis. Mothering Justice is an organization of mothers working to center the lives and the needs of the caregivers in our society. We're individuals that live at the intersection of the childcare crisis. We're parents, we're childcare providers, we are workers, and we are employers. We understand what it's like to not be able to make ends meet. We know that an investment in childcare is an investment in a family, in a community, and as our state as a whole. Governor Whitmer's plan will not only make childcare more affordable, it will bring stability to an industry that has been rocked by a global pandemic. This historic investment in early childhood education will change the lives of families. It will allow parents the opportunities to thrive in the workplace while they have the peace of mind that their children are being taken care of. And it will provide educational opportunities for children who would otherwise be on a wait list. We applaud this tremendous step in including every family in care and building a program that will give them what they deserve. We look forward to working to make sure that this is long-lasting and that the next generation of parents and children have the same opportunities that we're getting today. I also want to thank this group of people for including activist parents in the process to creating this. Thank you. And with that, with no further ado, I would love to introduce Supermom, Dr. Megan Cahill.
Thank you so much for all of the kind remarks from everyone. It's been an overwhelming introduction, so thank you. My name is Dr. Megan Cahill. I'm an emergency physician and a mother of 5 young children, 6 years old and under. The reliability and trustworthiness of childcare has never been more important than during this pandemic. When the rest of the world shut down from COVID, I was needed in the hospital to care for the sickest members of our community. But my husband and I relied on dependable childcare in order to continue to work. The efforts that have been made by the managers and the staff at Babes in Toyland to be able to be open and allow my children a safe and healthy environment to continue to play and learn were incredible. These brave workers really do deserve to be recognized for their dedication to safe, trustworthy, and extraordinary care. I am hopeful with increased access to early childhood programs that more families in our state will be able to have opportunities like mine. So thank you so much, everybody.
Okay, everyone, we're running a bit over time, but we have just a minute for the governor or lieutenant governor to answer media questions on childcare.
How long will the money last, and what's going to happen when it runs out?
So about 12 months ago, we had a revenue estimating conference. What we anticipated because of COVID was we would have a $3 billion deficit. What we have come to find a year later is we have a $3.5 billion surplus. A lot of that is in thanks to, Congresswoman Stevens and her colleagues in Congress and the Biden administration for sending so many resources to the state of Michigan. Another piece of it is that we've managed well through this crisis, and it has been hard for every single one of us. But we're now in a position where we can make some fundamental investments in things that aren't just a response to COVID, but set us on a path, a trajectory for real transformation. And that's why we want to make this investment now. We think that creating more slots, ensuring that whether it's GSRP or it is daycare or it is an expansion of, it's our efforts to close the gap in funding between our schools. These are all critical components to meeting the needs of our students that will have long-term benefits. So we've got an opportunity to make an upfront investment, but because of the surplus, because of what we've seen in our state budget, we're going to be able to make this in a longer term. And once people see that we can do this as a society, we're going to expect that this continues to happen. And I think that's the longer term opportunity in front of us.
Governor, can you expand a little bit more on the back to work incentives that you mentioned? You said it was $300 a week for some employees? Is that right?
So right now, of course, we've got $300 per week that we are getting from the federal government that we are using for those who are unemployed. Generally, people would have to choose. Either you take that or you get back in the workplace. We don't want people to have that false choice, right? Set people up for failure. We want to encourage people to get back into the workforce, and we're using this kind of as a bridge to getting back into full employment. You can continue to draw down this $300 a month on top of your paycheck, and that's a great way for working people to get back in without paying, a price or having to make an unconscionable decision. Do I stay out and make a little more, or do I jump back in and get the benefit of both? And that's what we're working on.
Will that take any legislative approval, or are you able to just do that?
We're able to do that. What we do need from the legislature is them to expand the definition under the law to include new jobs. Right now, it would be applicable for people who are going back into the workforce in the job that they had to leave before. We want to make it available for anyone to jump back in a variety of workplaces, and that's what we need help from the legislature to do.
We have time for one more question.
What should residents prepare to see when it comes to the allocation of these funds into high-quality, accessible childcare?
Well, I think what we're going to see is there will be more opportunities for working families to have a quality place that is affordable for their kids when they go back to work. I mean, we will see this happen all across the state. As I mentioned, there are 3 parts to our efforts to meet the needs of our young people, of our K-12, closing that gap, investing more resources, expansion of GSRP, and then this improvement on what we do in terms of expanding and recognizing the incredible work of our daycare providers so that we pay them more. So these are all 3 points in a 0 to 18 strategy to help working families with children get back in the workplace and make sure, most importantly, that the needs of our kids are met. And one of the words that was used over and over again as people were speaking and I was listening was center, right? Congresswoman Stevens said, we're at this center. This is what should center all of us, right? The needs of our students, the needs of our economy. This is where we can find the greatest opportunity. So let's get it done. All right. Thanks, everybody. Wow, the media is actually seeing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. I feel like we should go to the legislature. Let's just some pictures there, yeah. Here with him.
Okay. Okay. Yay! I appreciate that.
Just throw the phone. I think I skipped you in my opening. No, you didn't. I did outdoors. That you're a good one. Right.
Picture.
Danielle, so triplets in the little wagon.
We had some highest numbers.
All 5 of them come here. All under the age of 6 years old, 4 years old, and then my triplet
Oh, I apologize. Were you able to find out what I zoned out on? They're so great, but they're up. No, thank you so much. I felt so embarrassed. I was like, wow, I really zoned out for a second.